Have you ever wondered if a chance encounter could change your entire life? If you're enjoying this story, please hit that like button and subscribe to see more heartwarming tales of unexpected love and second chances. The blue light of the computer screen illuminated Marcus's tired face as he squinted at the lines of code. It was nearly midnight, but he couldn't afford to stop now. The freelance IT job had to be finished by morning, and his daughter Lily's school tuition was due next week. Being a single dad at 35 wasn't what he'd planned, but life rarely followed plans. His phone buzzed with a text from Mrs. Henderson, his elderly neighbor who watched Lily when he had late-night emergency calls. "Lily's fast asleep. Don't worry about picking her up until morning. Get your work done, dear." Marcus smiled gratefully. Without neighbors like Mrs. Henderson, he didn't know how he'd manage raising an 8-year-old alone since Claire's death 3 years ago. He took a sip of cold coffee and returned to the task at hand, an urgent system recovery for Meridian Technologies, one of the city's fastest-growing software companies. The call had come in at 8 p.m. The CEO's personal laptop had crashed right before a critical presentation. His regular client, the IT director, had begged him to help. "She's impossible to please, but she's desperate, and will pay triple your emergency rate." Marcus couldn't refuse that kind of money. So here he was, in the empty Meridian Technologies building, trying to recover files from the CEO's corrupted hard drive. He'd never met the infamous Alexandra Chen. Office rumors painted her as brilliant but cold, a programming prodigy who'd built her company from nothing into a tech powerhouse. At 33, she was the youngest CEO on the city's Business Leadership Council and notoriously private. Some called her the Ice Queen for her demanding management style and reserved demeanor. As the recovery program finally completed its scan, Marcus exhaled with relief. The data was intact. He began transferring the recovered files to their proper locations, organizing them into their original folder structure. That's when he accidentally clicked on a photo folder. The screen filled with a photograph that made him pause. It wasn't a business document or presentation slide. It was Alexandra Chen, but not the polished, intimidating executive from company publicity photos. This was Alexandra sitting on a park bench, hair loose around her shoulders, laughing at something off camera. She looked happy. Unguarded. Beautiful in a way that professional headshots never captured. "Find something interesting?" Marcus jumped, nearly knocking over his coffee. Standing in the doorway was Alexandra Chen herself, looking considerably less relaxed than in the photo. She wore a simple black dress, her dark hair pulled back in a severe bun. Despite the late hour, she looked immaculate, except for the shadows under her eyes. "I'm sorry," Marcus stammered, quickly closing the photo. "I was organizing the recovered files and clicked on the wrong folder." She approached, setting down 2 cups of fresh coffee on the desk. "I thought you might need this. The security guard said you've been here for hours." "Thank you," Marcus said, surprised by the gesture. "I've nearly finished. All your files are recovered, including the presentation for tomorrow." Alexandra nodded, but her eyes drifted to the now-closed photo folder on the screen. "You saw that picture?" It wasn't a question. Marcus considered lying but opted for honesty. "Yes. I apologize for the invasion of privacy." She was quiet for a moment, then asked something that caught him completely off guard. "Am I pretty? In that photo, I mean." The question hung in the air between them. Marcus looked up at her, confused by the vulnerability in her voice. The Alexandra Chen standing before him seemed suddenly human, uncertain, nothing like the fearsome CEO he'd heard about. "Yes," he answered honestly. "You look happy there. It's a beautiful photo." She smiled faintly, an expression that transformed her face. "My brother took it 2 years ago, before he died. It's the last photo I have where I'm genuinely smiling." Marcus recognized the grief in her voice immediately, the same hollow note that had lived in his own since Claire's passing. "I understand," he said quietly. "I have a similar photo with my late wife." Alexandra's eyes met his, a moment of recognition passing between them. She pulled up a chair and sat beside him. "Tell me about her," she said. And somehow, in the quiet of the empty office building at 1 in the morning, Marcus found himself telling this stranger about Claire, how they'd met in college, their dreams of traveling the world cut short by her cancer diagnosis, how brave she'd been through it all, and how he'd been raising their daughter alone for the past 3 years. "Lily's 8 now," he concluded. "She has her mother's smile and, unfortunately, my stubbornness." Alexandra laughed softly. "She sounds wonderful." "She is," Marcus agreed. "What about your brother?" Alexandra's expression softened. "Michael was my best friend. He was the creative one, a photographer. He always said I worked too hard, took life too seriously." She gestured to the computer screen. "That day in the park was one of the rare times I took his advice to relax. 2 months later, he was gone. Car accident." "I'm sorry," Marcus said. "After he died, I threw myself into work even more. It was easier than feeling the loss." She looked at him curiously. "How do you do it?" "Keep going, I mean." "One day at a time," Marcus answered. "For Lily's sake at first, then eventually for my own. Claire would have hated seeing me give up on living." Alexandra nodded thoughtfully. "Your daughter is lucky to have you." Marcus smiled. "I'm the lucky one. She gives me purpose." He turned back to the computer. "Speaking of purpose, I should finish this. You have an important presentation tomorrow." "Right." Alexandra straightened, her professional demeanor returning. "How much longer?" "Just a few minutes to complete the file organization and run a final check." She watched him work in silence, occasionally sipping her coffee. When he finally closed the recovery program and handed her the laptop, their fingers brushed briefly. "Thank you," she said. "The IT director was right about you." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "What did he say?" "That you're the best. Worth triple the emergency rate." She smiled again, that same transformation lighting her face. "He didn't mention you were easy to talk to." Marcus felt himself blushing slightly. Well, technical skills were probably more relevant to the job description. Perhaps. She hesitated, then added, "Would you be interested in becoming our regular IT consultant? We could use someone with your expertise on a more permanent basis." The offer caught him by surprise. I'd have to think about it. I've been freelancing to keep a flexible schedule for Lily." "We can work around that," Alexandra said quickly. "Family comes first." "I understand that now more than ever." There was something in her expression, a determination, a decision being made, that intrigued him. "I'll consider it," he promised. "Thank you for the opportunity." As they walked to the elevator together, an awkward silence fell between them. The intimate conversation they'd shared seemed out of place now that his work was done. "It's late," Alexandra said as the elevator doors opened. "Do you need a ride home?" Marcus shook his head. "My car's in the parking garage." "But thank you." She nodded, then surprised him by extending her hand. "It was nice meeting you, Marcus." "You too, Ms. Chen." "Alexandra," she corrected him. "After sharing grief stories at 1 in the morning, I think we're on a first-name basis." He smiled. "Alexandra, then." As the elevator doors began to close, she suddenly held them open. "That photo you saw. I'd like to be that person again. The one who knows how to smile." Before Marcus could respond, she let the doors close, leaving him standing in the lobby with an unexpected warmth in his chest and the lingering scent of her perfume. The next morning, Marcus woke to Lily bouncing on his bed. "Dad!" Mrs. Henderson made pancakes and said you worked super late. Did you fix a spaceship computer? Or maybe a robot? Marcus laughed, pulling his daughter into a hug. Just a regular computer, Lillipad. But I met someone interesting. A girl? Lily asked with the directness only children possess. A woman, Marcus corrected. A CEO of a technology company. Was she nice? Marcus thought about Alexandra's unexpected vulnerability, her question about the photo. Yes, I think she is. Under all the pressure she puts on herself. After breakfast and dropping Lily at school, Marcus checked his email to find a formal job offer from Meridian Technologies, with a salary that made his eyes widen and flexible hours specifically mentioned in the contract. There was also a personal note from Alexandra. The presentation went perfectly, thanks to you. I meant what I said about the position. No pressure, but I hope you'll consider it. Either way, I'd like to buy you coffee sometime as proper thanks. Bring Lily if you'd like. I make terrible pancakes, but I know a place with the best hot chocolate in the city, *. Marcus read the note twice, a smile spreading across his face. He began typing his response. 3 months later, Marcus had settled into his new role at Meridian Technologies. The regular hours and substantial pay increase had transformed his and Lily's lives. They'd moved from their cramped apartment to a small house with a backyard. Lily had started piano lessons, something she'd always wanted but they couldn't previously afford. His relationship with Alexandra had evolved in unexpected ways. What began as occasional coffee meetings to discuss work gradually shifted to lunches, then dinners. Alexandra had met Lily, who immediately decided the computer lady was super cool because she could code games and knew all about the latest technology. For her part, Alexandra seemed to bloom in Lily's presence. The reserved CEO who intimidated board members would sit cross-legged on the floor building elaborate Lego structures with his daughter, laughing in a way that reminded Marcus of that first photograph he'd seen. Today was Saturday, and Alexandra had invited them to the botanical gardens. As Lily ran ahead to examine a butterfly display, Alexandra and Marcus walked slowly behind her. She's thriving, Alexandra observed. Her science teacher told me she's the most enthusiastic student in the robotics club. Marcus smiled. She talks about nothing else at home. Thank you for arranging that, by the way. The school never had a robotics program before Meridian's donation. Alexandra shrugged. The company should be investing in future talent. It was an easy decision. But Marcus knew better. The program had been created specifically with Lily in mind, though Alexandra would never admit it. You've changed our lives, he said quietly. Both of us. Alexandra stopped walking, turning to face him. You've changed mine too. Before I met you, I was just existing. Running the company, making money, but not really living. She looked ahead at Lily, who was carefully photographing a blue morpho butterfly with the camera Alexandra had given her. You reminded me there's more to life. Marcus felt a familiar warmth spread through his chest, the feeling that had been growing steadily over these past months. Alexandra. I found something, she interrupted, reaching into her bag. I wanted to show you. She handed him her phone, open to a photo. It was recent, taken at Lily's school science fair 2 weeks ago. In it, Alexandra was laughing, her arm around Lily's shoulders as they posed with Lily's robotics project. Marcus had taken the picture. Do you see it? She asked softly. Marcus studied the photo, then understood. The smile on Alexandra's face was genuine, unguarded, just like in the photo her brother had taken years ago. You're smiling again, he said. Really smiling. She nodded, taking back the phone and looking at the image. For the first time since Michael died, I feel like myself again. And it's because of you and Lily. Marcus took her hand, intertwining their fingers. That first night, when you asked if you were pretty in that photo. God, that was embarrassing, Alexandra laughed, shaking her head. I don't know what came over me. No, it wasn't, Marcus insisted. It was human. You let me see the real you, not just the CEO. She squeezed his hand. And what did you think of the real me? I thought you were beautiful then, he said honestly. But now that I know you, the woman who builds Lego castles with my daughter and secretly funds school programs and still manages to run a tech empire, now I think you're extraordinary. Alexandra's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. Marcus. Dad. Alex. Come look at this. Lily called from the butterfly pavilion. They walked hand in hand toward Lily, who was excitedly pointing at an emerging butterfly breaking free from its chrysalis. It's starting a new life, Lily explained seriously. The book says it has to struggle to get out so its wings will be strong enough to fly. Alexandra knelt beside her. That's often how it works. The struggles make us stronger. Lily looked between Alexandra and her father, noticing their joined hands with the perceptiveness of children. Are you going to be part of our family now, Alex? Marcus began to gently redirect the question, but Alexandra answered first. I'd like that very much, Lily. If it's okay with you. Lily considered this with grave seriousness. Do you love my dad? Alexandra looked up at Marcus, her eyes clear and certain. Yes, I do. And do you love me too? Lily pressed. More than I ever thought possible, Alexandra answered honestly. Lily nodded, satisfied. Then it's okay with me. Dad needs someone to make him laugh. He was sad for a long time after Mom went to heaven. Marcus felt his throat tighten with emotion. He knelt down beside them, pulling Lily into a hug. Your mom would like Alexandra, Lillipad. She'd be happy we found someone to love. I know, Lily said with the confidence of absolute certainty. Mom told me to take care of you, and now I don't have to do it all by myself. Alexandra wiped away a tear, then pointed back to the emerging butterfly. Look, it's almost free. The three of them watched as the butterfly finally broke free of its chrysalis, wings still damp and crumpled. Slowly, it began to expand them, preparing for its first flight. Sometimes, Alexandra said softly, the most beautiful things come from unexpected places. Marcus looked at her, this remarkable woman who had entered their lives because of a crashed computer and an accidental glimpse of a photograph, and knew with absolute certainty that he had found his second chance at happiness. Later that evening, as Lily slept and Alexandra rested her head against his shoulder on the porch swing, Marcus thought about the journey that had brought them here. From grief and loneliness to this newfound joy. What are you thinking about? Alexandra asked, looking up at him. That night in your office, when you asked if you were pretty, he replied. I gave you an incomplete answer. She raised an eyebrow. Oh. I said you were beautiful in that photo. But I should have said that true beauty isn't just about appearance. It's about who you are, your strength, your kindness, the way you've opened your heart to us. He brushed a strand of hair from her face. You're the most beautiful person I've ever known, Alexandra Chen. She smiled, that genuine smile that had once been lost but was now found again, and leaned up to kiss him under the stars, both of them finally free of the past and ready to embrace their future together. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of love, second chances, and the unexpected ways our lives can change in an instant. Remember that sometimes our greatest happiness comes after our deepest pain, and that opening our hearts again takes courage, but it's always, always worth it.